What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below, the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. There's a lot of exciting things happening, guys, behind the scenes. And with that, I want to talk about my biggest announcement so far I've ever had on the YouTube channel, and the biggest announcement I've ever had, really, in terms of other ventures, other things that we're doing outside of just content here on YouTube. So with that being said, guys, let's talk about, the big announcement here of something that we're doing. I need to kind of put this into context because going back number of years ago, back in 2016, I went to the New York Film Academy. I did a short-term program there, and I studied filmmaking with a mindset of directing more than anything, but really just trying to learn all I could about filmmaking and content creation. And after I was at the New York Film Academy for that short-term program, essentially what I decided was I had two options. I could take two different paths. If I wanted to pursue filmmaking full-blown, like making movies, TV shows, and things of that nature, I would really need to stay in New York or LA to really focus on building up a network and meeting a lot of people and just working on tons and tons of projects. The second option was taking, at the time, a little bit more of an untraditional route, which was YouTube, and creating content on YouTube around the things that I found interesting, whether it was gaming related, which is primarily what we talk about, movie related content, sport related content. All of those things I can do from the comfort of my own home, which YouTube really opened up human potential, in my personal opinion, when it came to content creation. You can create content from anywhere at any point in time, and you upload it, and it's out there for the entire world to see. And so it's a really special thing. And so I took that route instead of taking the route for filmmaking and living in New York City or LA. That being said, ever since I started this YouTube channel, zrotv, back in 2018, I had this mindset where I wanted to create content here on YouTube and, of course, stream on Twitch, which we've been streaming consistently on Twitch. You guys can check that out, @0_TV. The stream is awesome, guys. I love streaming as well as doing content here on YouTube, but I also wanted to find some other ways that we could create content in different places. And so now I'm really happy to announce we are an Amazon influencer, which essentially means, guys, we can create content on Amazon and basically talking about different products, things that we find interesting. Once again, my gaming setup, I'm going to be doing, of course, a number of reviews on all the different components of my gaming setup. The things that I find interesting, that would be like video games, movies, things of that nature, and doing reviews of those on Amazon. You guys can check out the link in the description down below for my Amazon influencer page. You guys can check out all that content. And what's awesome about the Amazon influencer program is all the content that you can view there is similar to YouTube. It's free to watch all of the content that you want to see. And so whether it's me talking about my new PC I purchased, or a webcam, or a new game I just finished playing, I'm going to be posting those reviews on Amazon. And the reason why I decided to do this, guys, instead of on YouTube, is because this YouTube channel is designed for each and every one of you when it comes to gaming, esports, entertainment, movies, filmmaking, all of those different things, the things in the entertainment business that I find interesting, we talk about here. But more specifically, we talk a lot about the future of gaming, the future of esports, the future of entertainment, games, movies that never got releases or continuations. We talk about those things, and we want to echo those things into existence if they're games or movies that we really, really are passionate about. And so I wanted to separate the two from not only YouTube, but also now opening up a new avenue that you guys can take in much more content on the Amazon influencer page. And so you guys can check that out. That's amazon.com/shop/0TV. I hope to see each and every one of you guys there. Let's get into the show. So a title that we got a trilogy for, and there's been a lot of talk about a continuation of this franchise, and I believe that it should continue without any question of a doubt. That is BIOSHOCK. So guys, this is a franchise that has had 3 entries up to this point in time, and we finished off with BIOSHOCK Infinite, which all 3 of these stories have been very, very fascinating, at least in my personal opinion. I've absolutely loved the story of BIOSHOCK. I love being underwater in this water city, and then going to the clouds and BIOSHOCK Infinite, and really exploring that world. And we were left on a massive cliffhanger at the end of BIOSHOCK Infinite, which really led us to the possibilities that this world is endless in terms of just however, really they could go in so many different directions. That would be the developer and publishers in terms of where they would want to go with this franchise. There's so many different options. And so I want to talk about BIOSHOCK 4 here in this segment of the show. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, this is an article coming to us from the folks over at Tech Radar and Vic Hood of the company. What can we expect from BIOSHOCK 4? Well, announced around 4 years ago, but still no BIOSHOCK 4 release date to speak of. That's the situation we find ourselves in still. So from what we know, it's being worked on over at EA by a studio called Cloud Chamber. Aside from that, things are pretty murky as to where the game is set and what platforms it is going to release on. What's expected is that we may be looking at a long wait before the game is re-revealed, but hopefully we'll hear more sooner rather than later. The next entry in this brilliant series is already one of the most highly anticipated upcoming games, even without a release date. And yes, guys, I gotta tell you, this game has been building in terms of buzz, excitement, things of that nature. Even though we've got a new studio, which that can be a little bit concerning at times because you have a brand new, company coming into the fray that has not worked on this franchise up to this point, and they're trying to take on a very highly anticipated continuation for a very beloved series. That is concerning because when you think of games like Halo, we had the first number of games with Bungie, and then it switched over to 343 Industries. And when 343 took over, it was shaky, and it even still is to this day. And so they're still trying to kind of figure it out in terms of what they're trying to do. And they were off to a great start with Halo Infinite, and then some things started falling apart. But what I will say is Cloud Chamber, is it going to take them one BIOSHOCK game to kind of really start figuring it out, and then the next one, BIOSHOCK 5, is where they really find their footing? I'm really hoping that they knock this one out of the park. In a tweet officially announcing a new BIOSHOCK game back in 2019, publisher 2K Games stated that work had begun on the next iteration of the BIOSHOCK franchise. Here confirmed that the game would be in development for the next several years. That may not have been the most welcome news, but it did give us an idea about what platforms BIOSHOCK 4 would eventually release on. With the PS5 and Xbox Series X now available, we'll almost certainly be seeing a new BIOSHOCK releasing on these platforms, and probably on PC too. Whether the title arrives on last generation consoles like Xbox One and PS4 is less certain. Depends on when the sequel releases. Now, first to potential BIOSHOCK 4 gameplay, the original official 2K press release from 2019 and announcements made alongside it that revealed the next BIOSHOCK game was in development did seem to indicate that it would be first person again. 2K president David said alongside that, "We can't wait to see where its BIOSHOCK powerful narrative and iconic first person shooter gameplay head in the future with our new studio team at Cloud Chamber leading the charge. This rather implies that the first person nature is likely to continue." And so I would definitely anticipate them continuing in first person, guys. Them going to like a third person view, or third person with an option of third person, first and third. That can start kind of rocking the boat for sure within the community, especially when you're focusing on those things, when you really need to be focusing on the story. Now, what I will say about that is that Cloud Chamber, they've got a lot of time already that they've had to be working on this. It'd be nice to see, like, if we could just get an announcement in terms of, hey, like, just a, a quick teaser or even just a poster or an image, something that shows BioShock 4 or BioShock, whatever the continuation is, that would be really nice. And we'll have to wait and see if we get that here in 2023 or if we're going to have to wait until 2024 or 2025. In terms of possible BioShock 4 setting details, there was a lot of rumor floating around at the end of 2021 stating that the fourth game would take us back to a familiar time period. The crux of the rumors was that BioShock 4 would be set in the 1960s and in an Antarctic city called Borealis, and that its story would connect the previous games in the series. While these claims did align with several publication-owned sources at the time, there has been no official confirmation or word on them. I think for Cloud Chamber, this being a brand new company that is working on BioShock, a beloved franchise like I had said, I think it would be very smart for them to go into some familiar territory to kind of bring the feels back of BioShock, whether that's going, back into the clouds or back into the water, maybe not diving too far away from what's already been done, even though they can take risk on the story perspective, maybe even a little bit on the gameplay perspective. But I think that what's very important is that there's some familiarity where it feels like BioShock. And I think going back to one of those settings would be very smart for Cloud Chamber, at least with this one while they're getting their footing. And then BioShock 5, they're kind of full steam ahead. Now, there is talk, guys, that BioShock 4 is in development hell. And so that being said, we should point out straight away that this is very speculative and strong in its reliance on rumors. We're not totally sure the reports are accurate, but we'll tentatively include them here for context. The crux of the rumors is that the game has been rebooted repeatedly and has been through multiple changes in dev leadership. The rumors also referred to the game as BioShock Isolation. To reiterate, however, these are just rumors. And guys, I gotta tell you, I would not be surprised whatsoever if the game is in development hell right now. And the reason being is because when this game got announced, in terms of not the title or anything of that nature, but that BioShock was going to have a continuation, at this point in time, we should have heard something. We should have heard some kind of update, whether it was on the website or, like I said, a poster comes out or some kind of image comes out that, hey, this is what the game is called, or the tentative game. Here's a teaser trailer. Even if it's a few years away, it builds excitement. Think of Elder Scrolls. We've been waiting for the new Elder Scrolls game, and we get just a very simple teaser trailer that it's coming out, and that's it. And we've been waiting for years and years since. Why couldn't they do something like that here? And that's why I'm starting to believe that it's in some form of development hell. Now, in a piece of juicy gossip supplied by a new round of job listings, it appears that Cloud Chamber will be taking BioShock in a different direction this time out, with the developer actively searching for someone who can weave impactful, character-driven stories in an open-world setting. So when they say open world, guys, well, another job listing also points to the upcoming BioShock implementing an urban crowd system with a systemic tribal ecology backed by a sometimes hostile AI. It said the person who ultimately gets the job will need to push the envelope of what is possible with interactive crowd systems. And so one of the things that concerns me a little bit about this, when they start talking about, really taking a different direction in a number of ways, making this maybe go away somewhat from a linear experience to more of an open world experience, I'm totally fine with Cloud Chamber trying different things. But like I said, I think it'd be very smart for Cloud Chamber to stay grounded, even though it may feel somewhat like a copy and paste of one of the previous games that have come out in the BioShock series. It's going to get us re-engaged in this franchise. And then from there, you can really build off of that and build something really special with BioShock 5, or kind of go in your own creative direction. Have one game that feels, the same type of linear experience that you get from the other BioShock titles, and then BioShock 5, you can start to kind of branch off and do a semi-open world or open world setting. I think of Gears of War. This is a perfect example of this. Obviously Epic Games works on the first number of titles in the Gears of War franchise. And then when Gears of War 4 comes out and, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, the Coalition takes over. And the Coalition, Xbox, game studio, With Gears of War 4, they did do some changes. Like they moved away from the main character, that being Marcus Phoenix, and moved over to his son JD, which was still like awesome. And they moved away from that, but they kept it a linear experience. They stayed grounded and the game was awesome. And then when you had Gears 5, they kind of changed some things where they made it a semi-open world setting. So they slowly but surely kind of grew what they were trying to do in scope. And in ways, Gears 5 did great. In ways, it did not. But what I'm saying is that if Cloud Chamber does not knock this out of the park, it's going to turn some people off from the BioShock name and the BioShock franchise. We'll always remember those original trilogy, but we really want the future to be even better than the past. And, so I'm a little bit concerned when we start hearing that they're trying to take a little bit of a different direction here. I would even be on board with them doing what Dead Space did with a Dead Space remake. I would love to see a BioShock remake. Why not do a BioShock remake? See what the kind of reception is from everybody in the community, and then move into BioShock 4. Maybe doing something like that where they're not rushing something like a BioShock 4 out to the public, and it's not fully ready to go, or the story doesn't make sense, or whatever it is. I think maybe doing a remake might be a smart move for Cloud Chamber. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It's a fascinating topic. BioShock 4, what are your guys' thoughts about it? Let me know in that comment section down below. And for more BioShock 4 content and videos, stay here with zrotv. Another beloved franchise that people have been clamoring and asking for a continuation of is Bloodborne. I want to talk in this segment of the show about Bloodborne 2. Is this a game that's going to come out in the foreseeable future? Could we be getting an announcement here in 2023 or 2024? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Jules Albert of Cultured Ventures, several people agree that Bloodborne is a true gem from the last decade of gaming. Although its Souls-like difficulty gave players a hard time, they still felt ecstatic thanks to its immersive gameplay, intricate lore, and spot-on game design. The game was also immediately praised by fans after its 2015 release, and it's still loved by many today. Given its success and reception, many fans look forward to a sequel, Bloodborne 2. If you happen to be one of them, here's everything you need to know. So that being said, guys, when could this game possibly be coming out? Well, at the moment, there's no official announcement regarding the release of Bloodborne 2. There's also no confirmation whether or not a sequel will be made in the first place. Bloodborne's developer From Software seems to be focused on Armored Core 6 and Elden Ring DLC for now. So obviously, guys, Armored Core 6 already came out. Elden Ring, of course, I'm sure they're working on a number of other things behind the scenes with that game because of the smash success it was. But could we be getting it after that? Well, after that, Bloodborne 2 might be developed, but we can't say for sure. From Software does a great job of keeping secrets when it comes to its projects, so it's hard to tell what its next games are going to be. Still, a sequel isn't entirely out of the question given the success of the original and other similar recent titles like Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and Elden Ring. If they don't push through with Bloodborne 2, then From Software might settle with a Bloodborne remaster or PC port. And I agree with that. I think a remaster could definitely be something that From Software ends up doing. Well, what exactly could this title be about if it were to be developed? Well, let's talk about that. Since there's no word of a sequel, no one knows what Bloodborne 2's story will be. For now, we can only speculate what the game can be about. Bloodborne 2 can potentially expand the game's world, going beyond Harnum. This gives room for the developers to deepen the lore and develop a new immersive story for the players. Bloodborne 2 might also follow the events of the first game, continuing the story of your main character there. However, the first game has multiple endings, so they'll have to pick which one is canon for the sequel. It's also possible that Bloodborne 2 will follow an entirely new protagonist to prevent any complications with the first game. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about, with the multiple endings, which ending do you think they should go with as canon? Let me know in the comment section down below. So in terms of, who could be developing Bloodborne 2, I mean, what exactly could be happening here? Well, we can all agree that there's a high chance From Software would develop Bloodborne 2. They're also the ones who created the original Bloodborne and other Souls-like games. Furthermore, From Software is basically the one who started the whole Souls-like genre, so there's no one else best suited for the job than them. That said, they're very busy right now, so Sony may end up giving the IP to someone else to work on. And that's a big question, guys. Like, who could they potentially give this project to? if From Software is just going to be kind of overseeing a lot of the things, but they're going to be there for, a lot of the creative decisions and things of that nature from a narrative perspective. But who else could really do something like a Bloodborne 2? And I just feel that I keep coming back to From Software. I don't think there's really many companies that are going to do it like they do it. In terms of, someone else develops it, it may end up being a lot easier than the original game, which a lot of people may like, because of how difficult Bloodborne 2 is. But some people want to see it be even more difficult than the first game. And so From Software are the guys who really try to raise the bar from that perspective. But a lot of this, guys, is speculation. If you ask me, I do believe that Bloodborne 2 will get made at some point. I believe it needs to be made. I think that there's a massive community behind this game. We just got to echo it into existence. And, by doing that through Reddit, through social media, messaging From Software, letting them know that we want a Bloodborne 2. Lots of things, guys, could happen in the coming years, as they've been developing more and more, different games or DLC, whatever it is. Bloodborne 2 should definitely be on their list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's have a real conversation about Bloodborne 2. And for more Bloodborne 2 content and videos, stay here with zrotv. Let's talk about GTA 6, shall we? GTA 6, guys. The Grand Theft Auto series has been such a fascinating one to me. GTA 5 actually blew a lot of expectations, in my personal opinion. I think it blew a lot of people's expectations, and it has been a wildly successful, one of the most successful games of all time. And I would say that GTA 6, the wait that we've had for this game, it's been so tough for so many people, myself included, because I've been really excited for a continuation of the Grand Theft Auto franchise. And that being said, when could we be getting an announcement? Obviously Rockstar, they have a way of just kind of taking their time with games, and every time that they bring a new game out, or a continuation of one of their current IPs that they hold, they just knock it out of the park every time. And, whether we're talking about Red Dead to, Max Payne or, the list goes on and on, GTA being the biggest. And I got to tell you, I would argue that Grand Theft Auto 6 is, without question, the most anticipated game of all time. I think that because of how long we've been waiting, and we're getting nuggets, little tiny pieces of information every once in a while about this title, there is no doubt in my mind that this has become the most anticipated game ever. You think of other games out there, people are very excited for Elder Scrolls. I think that, and I think with good reason, that, Elder Scrolls, I think is going to be, it could be a great game. Bethesda's been a little bit shaky in terms of the projects that they've been bringing out though. So I'm not really holding my breath for it, but Rockstar has been crushing it in terms of just one after the next, knocking games out of the park. So when are we getting an announcement? Are we going to get an announcement this year, here in 2023? Are we going to get it in 2024? Let's talk about that. When I think about it, Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6, I think that is just going to randomly drop one day when no one's going to be expecting it. It's going to drop within, GTA 5 Online. They're going to do something, a big announcement, GTA 5 Online, and then everybody's going to be able to view it, and it's going to absolutely break the internet, and they're going to give us an announcement of when the game's going to be coming out. When do I think it's coming out? I think it's probably going to come out, guys, late 2024 or sometime in 2025. Could it be sooner? Probably not. Could we get an announcement here in 2023? I think it's very possible we could. If not, I think we're going to get the announcement in 2024 and the game will release in 2025. Something like that. They're probably going to start promoting it 6 months to a year in advance. They want to really build even more excitement and more hype, get people to come back to GTA 5, even though they have a massive amount of people that, are recurrent players that come back to the experience over and over again. And they've done an incredible job over at Rockstar when it comes to GTA 5. The announcement, though, guys, I believe is going to come in 2024. And I think the game is going to come out in 2025. Could it be 2026? It's very possible, depending on if Rockstar comes into any delays or anything of that nature. But I think that the mindset should be, let's drop it randomly, that being an announcement teaser, in 2024 or maybe Christmas of 2023, and then the game releases late 2024 or, sometime in 2025. Let me know though, guys, what do you think about GTA 6? I know I'm very excited about it. I'm sure many of you out there are really excited about it as well. Let me know what you all think about it in the comment section down below. And for more GTA 6 content and videos, keep it here with zrotv. A franchise I want to see a continuation of, without any question, is Rage. This is a franchise, guys, that, obviously up to this point, we've gotten 2 games. The first one I thought was, had a lot of really cool elements to it. I thought that the second game, it built off of those. I thought it did some things better, some things worse in Rage 2. But I believe in this IP and the franchise and kind of where they were trying to, where they're trying to go. And I think that they've got a lot of potential here in terms of making a Rage 3. So I want to talk about that in this segment of the show. So Rage 3, guys, is this a game that could potentially come out? Well, there's 2 things that happen to any franchise that will help continue the franchise or cancel any continuation or put a franchise into a limbo state or a state of no return. Those 2 things, number 1 is money, and then number 2 is reception. The first thing, when it comes to money, guys, in terms of Rage as a franchise, it's made money. There's no doubt. But did it make enough money? That's the big question. Because obviously, when you look at the numbers from Rage and Rage 2, there's going to be some differences, right? And obviously, they marketed Rage 2 in a heavy way. I thought the marketing was awesome for Rage 2, but it didn't land as well as really the first one did. Even though I loved the second game overall, there are some things which I'll get to that I didn't like, but I thought that they built off of the first one and they did some pretty cool things. Now, the second thing is the reception. First game did well. Second game, it did okay, but it had a lot of critics come in to a number of things in terms of the world. And that was my biggest complaint with the game as well, was that there was a lot of just open space, not a lot, to do. And I think that they could have added so much more stuff into Rage 2 to just bring you back to the experience over and over again. And they didn't do that. And Rage was a title that I personally believe would have been an incredible multiplayer experience. And obviously, with what we got in Rage 2 and, the developers coming out before the game even came out, we're talking about already moving on to Rage 3, like the next game, when Rage 2 hadn't even released yet. And that was pretty mind-blowing to me. Even though I thought that Rage 2, I thought it was going to do well. And so did probably the developers and publishers thought, hey, you know what? It's going to do well. And obviously the game comes out and it doesn't do quite as well as they were anticipating from sales numbers or from, a critical reception. And obviously that leads us now to where we are with the Rage franchise. And right now, guys, I believe that we are in a limbo state or a potential state of no return with Rage 3 ever coming out to the world. And it's a really unfortunate thing, but not all hope is lost, because another franchise that I was concerned about that we would never get a continuation of, but we kept on pounding the table. We kept on trying to, echo the game and the continuation into existence, was Dead Space. And guess what? We had been pounding this table for a long time. And you know what? It wasn't just, us. It was the entire community came together, went to EA, whether it was through Reddit, social media, whatever it was, creating content here on YouTube, streaming about it on Twitch. We wanted another Dead Space title. And sure enough, after all those years, we got a Dead Space remake. And now it's really rebooted the franchise. And I think we're going to get a lot more continuations in the future of Dead Space, which is absolutely awesome. Rage is something similar to me, because I feel that, yes, they took a step in the right direction in certain areas, but they took a step in the wrong direction in other areas. And so how can they implement moving forward in Rage 3? How can we get this game to be made? It's going to be us, guys, the community, coming together voicing our opinion to the developers, voicing our opinion once again to the publishers, and echoing Rage 3 into existence. That's what it's going to take. It's as simple as that. The community has to voice that we want this game to come out. I definitely, at the very least, want this to get rounded out as a trilogy. If we already had the trilogy and the third game didn't do really well, I probably, especially if the third game I thought was good enough, I would be voicing and wanting to see a Rage 4. So us getting the second game, which I thought was another somewhat tease between having like a full package, which is what I really wanted, be having like co-op modes, multiplayer modes, the single player story, which is what we got. I really think that they had so much more that they could have given to this franchise, but it's up to us, guys. Let's make it happen. Let's make Rage 3 happen. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you want to play Rage 3? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Rage 3 content and videos, stay here with zrotv. A game that has moved up to one of my most anticipated games of the future is Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Guys, the Warhammer franchise is a special one, and with Space Marine, I definitely was interested when this game first got announced. I saw the initial trailer or announcement trailer, and I was blown away. It reminded me a little bit of StarCraft, a little bit of Gears of War, and so it kind of had a lot of those things built into one, and so I have been incredibly excited since then. Well, we're getting more and more information. I want to talk about everything that we know now about this title, about the upcoming beta, things of that nature, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Let's talk about it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Ross McInley of PC Games, Focus Interactive shocks fans by announcing a Space Marine 2 beta, meaning you may be able to play the next Warhammer 40k game a little bit early. With Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 making quite the impact with its appearance at Gamescom 2023, publisher Focus Interactive has kept the hype train rolling with their August 30 extended gameplay showcase, giving fans a good look at Saber Interactive's entrance into the world of Warhammer 40k games. As expected, Focus Interactive showed off more than just gameplay, revealing that a Space Marine 2 beta is on the horizon. That being said, it feels like every day we're learning more about this game. During the extended gameplay stream, we got to see Titus in his full glory using Saber Interactive's newly developed range melee hybrid combat system. While at times the combat looked a little stiff, the gameplay has me on the edge of my seat. We even got to see a plasma pistol in action, and boy, does it look nasty. And I gotta tell you guys, the gameplay looks absolutely incredible. From a graphical fidelity of this game looks spectacular. The gameplay looks awesome. Obviously Saber Interactive, these guys making World War Z, they made it so that you could have like so many zombies on screen. I think it was like 1,000 zombies on screen at one time with different interactions and things of that nature. You can see that without a question of a doubt here in Space Marine 2. All of the different, aliens and things of that nature that are coming at you, it looks spectacular and it looks fascinating. Reminds me a lot of World War Z as well. But then, of course, with like the chainsaw sword and all of that, it reminds me a lot of a Space Marine from a Terran soldier in StarCraft, or one of the cogs in Gears of War. It just looks absolutely incredible. Now, this article, guys, is coming to us from Fran Ruiz of space.com. Games Workshop's Warhammer 40k is the most popular miniature war game in the world, and its gothic science fiction setting is greatly responsible for that. Unsurprisingly, it's also nurtured tons of video games over the decades, including the recent Doom-inspired shooter Boltgun, one of the most famous ones in 2011 Space Marine, and more than a decade later, we're finally getting a big blockbuster sequel. And so, in the distant future of Warhammer 40k, a dogmatic human civilization is under siege from all sides, fighting off armies of hostile aliens and terrible supernatural forces. It's grand and gritty in equal measure, and despite the many franchises it's influenced over the years, there's nothing quite like it. Space Marine put players inside the armor of Captain Titus, a member of the legendary Ultramarines, and he and his men fight against the Orcs and Chaos forces. Titus is back for the sequel, but the hideous insectoid Tyranids are the main antagonists this time around. So the game is obviously, guys, slated to release in winter of 2023 with no specific month mentioned so far. This suggests it could easily slip into 2024 if the developer at Saber Interactive decide the game needs more time in the oven, which I think at this point, guys, I think there's a good chance that it may actually be coming out. If it's not coming out like around Christmas of this year, it's probably going to come out some point in maybe Q1 or Q2 of 2024. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is a current gen exclusive which takes full advantage of the latest consoles and PC hardware's horsepower. It will be released for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC via Steam. The game has been built with Saber Interactive's proprietary engine, which definitively wowed gamers with the humongous hordes of enemies in the World War Z game that released a few years ago. That tech and experience will have been extremely valuable for Space Marine 2's development because they're ideal for bringing the large Tyranid armies to life effectively. So guys, obviously what they did with World War Z is, was spectacular. And I'm always been wondering if they're going to make a sequel to World War Z. That's a conversation for another day. But what they were able to do there was really special. And you can see a lot of that rubbing off now into Space Marine 2 and the Warhammer universe. And I think Saber Interactive, they've got a really great opportunity here to really take Warhammer to the next level. And that's what it looks like they're really trying to do here. After saving the day in the original game, Captain Titus was turned into the Inquisition by a suspicious battle brother. While he has been reinstated at the start of Space Marine 2, he's also been demoted to lieutenant. Captain Titus was originally voiced by famous actor Mark Strong, but the stoic character has been recast and is now portrayed by Vikings veteran Clive Standen. This story takes place during the Fourth Tyranid War and seemingly across 2 planets. It also appears that Titus has crossed the Rubicon Primaris, a dangerous surgery which upgrades and enhances the already augmented Space Marines. Titus will now be faster, tougher, and smarter. Super excited about that. Much like its predecessor, Space Marine 2 is a third-person action game with heavy emphasis on shooting apart while also smacking and cutting them to pieces with devastating melee combat. The Gears of War games are pretty obvious and big influences, but not the only ones. There's also a strong focus on working as a unit of soldiers instead of going solo in spite of the chaotic nature of the game's action, as the entire campaign can be played in either single player or alongside 2 other players. Nothing has been said about extra modes or a potential competitive multiplayer portion yet. Now, what I will say about that, guys, is this. Yes, I'm very excited that you're able to play this as a single player story, or you can play it co-op. And I think that's great because it's going to bring you back to the experience over and over again. You play the game by yourself once, then maybe you want to play with your friends in a co-op perspective. Absolutely awesome. But multiplayer is going to bring you back even more so to the experience over and over again. This game looks like it is built for multiplayer. Whether you're one of the Tyranids or you're one of the Space Marines and you clash in a competitive setting, that would be something really special. It would remind me a lot of like Gears of War. It could be really awesome from a competitive perspective, just from what we've seen so far of the gameplay. Time will tell when we start, get our hands on the game and things of that nature. That's going to tell us a lot more of whether this is going to be a good multiplayer experience. But at least early on, guys, it looks like it absolutely would be. Fans of Warhammer 40K can expect to see familiar weapons, vehicles, and enemies from both the Space Marine and Tyranid ranges, including many of the new models that arrived with the launch of the 10th edition 40K. So, obviously, guys, I love that they're going to be sticking with a lot of familiarity when it comes to weapons, but I'd also like to have some differences too. I'd like to have some new weapons, some new armor, which it seems like we're definitely going to be getting that here in Space Marine 2. I'd also like to see some variety in terms of enemies as well. I think that's something that looks like it could very well be something that's shaping up. I just want to be able to be, when we're fighting these enemies, I want it to, be different. I don't want to feel repetitive, right? Especially when you're fighting against thousands upon thousands of them. Same thing goes with like customization ordeals, like, being able to upgrade your armor, your weapons, and things of that nature. That would be something really, really cool as well. But guys, this game is gearing up to be something very special for not only right here, right now, but for the future. And I can't wait to continue creating content around this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 2 content and videos, keep it here with zrotv. I want to talk about Jenna Marbles in this segment of the show, guys. Jenna Marbles, a massive YouTuber, guys, huge content creator on the platform, has not created a video in a very long time on YouTube. And I want to talk about what happened here to her. Could we ever see her maybe in the future? And I would love to hear you guys' thoughts about this in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Alice Joberg of Dexterto, what happened to Jenna Marbles? Well, on June 25th, 2020, Marbles uploaded her final video to her YouTube channel, which has since been deleted, where she informed her subscribers that she was departing from YouTube. Now, guys, obviously, Jenna, she was involved in a number of different controversies. One of them being that she posted a video in 2011 where she imitated Nicki Minaj, and people felt that it got resurfaced in 2020, and they did not like that she was portraying Nicki Minaj. And then another, she was involved in other instances of controversy, such as her appearance in a 2011 music video where she seemingly contributed to some really controversial lyrics against Asians with her vocals. There were also other clips where she made offensive remarks, downplayed other women, and engaged in questionable behavior. In the now deleted apology video, Jenna addressed all of the accusations. She said, "I do want to tell you how unbelievably sorry I am if I ever offended you by posting this video, by doing this impression, and that was never my intention." So what is she doing now? Well, guys, her social media accounts remain largely inactive and little is known about her current endeavors. However, a significant announcement regarding her personal life did surface recently. In April 2021, fans of Jenna Marbles received their first update about her life in nearly 3 years. During a live stream on Twitch, her partner, Julian Solomita, announced that he and Jenna were engaged. In December 2022, Julian took to Instagram to reveal that they had gotten married after 9 years together. So now she's married. In January 2023, Julian revealed to fans that his and Jenna's home had been broken into by a woman after months of harassment. And then Julian published a statement on the subject to his Instagram stories that day, claiming that the intruder had been stalking and harassing him and his wife for months. Luckily, he was able to apprehend the stranger with pepper spray and locked her out of their home until law enforcement arrived. So look, guys, obviously, Jenna Marbles, it seems to an extent, she's moved on. Like, she's moved on from content creation on YouTube, really even being in the public eye, like on her public accounts, like, you know, her Twitter, her Instagram. It seems like she's really just moved on from all the content, and now she's married. She seems like she's happily married at this point. And so obviously, I think that expecting her to make more content, I don't think it's going to happen, at least anytime soon. Maybe sometime down the road, down the journey, she will come back. But I just think that it got to her over time. You know, all the controversies, all of the accusations, all of these different things, it just built over time. And it got to a point where it broke her and she did not want to come back to YouTube. And so it's really unfortunate because some of her content was really awesome. You know, I thought that she was a great creator from a number of the different videos that she made. Yes, she did do some edgier types of content at times, for sure. But I think that, you know, at some point, if she ever did decide to come back, I think that the community would embrace her. There would certainly be the trolls. There would certainly be people who would continue to bring up her past. But if she came back and her mindset was to create content that wasn't really edgy, it was just more like updates about what's going on in her life, coming out with like a podcast, things of that nature, I think people would be fully supportive of it. But what do you guys think happened here with Jenna Marbles and why she hasn't uploaded? Do you think it's what we just discussed? Do you think it's something else? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more gaming content and videos, stay here with zrotv. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, just keep grinding. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.